it's Mrs. Schultz again. So nice to see you all today. I am going to be sharing another video today for our second activity from the Welcome to Kindergarten program. And that is using one of my favorite tools for learning, which is something that we use a lot in the classroom, and you probably already have some of this at your own house, but we included it in your bag, which is 2 containers of Play-doh. So if you can take out your Play-doh that you had in your bag and a pair of scissors and your imagination. So I used to love Play-doh as a kid. I spent hours playing with it, and it is good for a bunch of different reasons. One of them, it's fun if you have little molds at home or cookie cutters where you can just press your Play-doh flat down on a counter or on a table and just use a cookie cutter and try and make shapes, almost as if very similar to what you do when you're baking and you're using dough. But there's different types of molds that you can get in packages where you can press the Play-doh down inside of it and pull it out gently, and then you have different shapes and things that you can make. It's fun to do so many different things with Play-doh. Sometimes it's just fun to squish it. You know, if you just want to take some time squishing it in your hand, that's fantastic, because when we're learning to write, one of the most important things we need to do is we need to get the muscles in our hands. We can't see them, but they're inside here, and we need to strengthen those muscles. Just like sometimes you see people working out at the gym and using weights to strengthen their muscles in their different parts of their body. When we want to learn how to hold a pencil and write, or if we want to learn how to use scissors, it's really important to make those muscles in our hands strong. So even doing things like just sitting there and squishing Play-doh is strengthening those muscles. And why is playing with Play-doh important? There's so many different reasons. One of the things I'm going to do today is show you a couple of activities that you can try at home. But Play-doh can be formed into so many different shapes, and it's just relaxing, and it helps us in so many different ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share one activity to start off with that's really simple. All you'll need is your scissors and your Play-doh. So if you see what I was doing here, I was just playing around as I'm talking to you and squishing it around. But you could take your Play-doh and just keep rolling it between your hands, or you can use a table and just roll it till you get a really long, almost like a noodle, if you're making spaghetti or something, out of your Play-doh, and smush it around. And it feels nice actually as it goes up and down your hands. It feels smooth. If you play with it long enough, it kind of warms up a little bit. But sometimes if you also make homemade Play-doh and you keep it in the fridge, it's nice to hold it in your hand because it's nice and chilled and cool on the hands. So if you can take your Play-doh and make it into a nice long noodle, and then if you need help from someone at home to use your scissors, this is a really tricky thing in itself, learning how to hold scissors. But we place our thumb into one of the sides. I'm putting my thumb into the red side of my scissors. And then I'm going to take 2 of my fingers, my pointer finger and my middle finger, and slide it into the other side of the scissors and open and close. And that's how you get your scissors to cooperate and move in your hand. Now this might be tricky because your hands are a little bit smaller than mine, but if you can open and close your scissors with one hand and then hold your Play-doh in the other and just practice cutting it and taking little pieces and snipping them off. And so this is really helping us learn how to strengthen those muscles and also use scissors at the same time. So this is a trick that you can try over and over again. And it's fun. You just make these little tiny snips. You can make them as big or as small as you want, and just keep snipping. And then when you're done, once you've done the entire thing, you have a bunch of little pieces of Play-doh. And then what you can just do is smush it together again and start all over again. So that's something you can do to play with Play-doh and strengthen your muscles. One thing that we do in the classroom is we also will sometimes pinch off little pieces, roll them, and place them down in front of us. and then we count them. So you can just pinch off with your fingers, roll it into a little ball, and place it down on the table in front of you and count how many of those you have in front of you. So we can use Play-doh to help us learn our numbers as well. Another thing that we do in kindergarten is we use Play-doh to help us learn our numbers and our letters. So you can take your Play-doh and pinch off a piece and roll it again, almost like you're making a snake this time. You're going to make it nice and long. And what I did before I started my video was I took a piece of paper and I used a marker, and you could have someone at home help you with this, or if you already know how to write your name, fantastic. But I wrote the name Max. Now my name is not Max, my name is Mrs. Schultz. But I wrote down these letters because I thought it was a nice short name that I can use for the video to show you how to do this. But you could take a piece of paper and use your marker to write. It could be a name, your name. It could be just random letters from the alphabet, your favorite letter perhaps. And then once you have taken your Play-doh and roll it out, I'm going to try and form the letters using my Play-doh. So I'm just using this baking sheet here to help me, but taking the Play-doh and lining it up and squishing it down against the marker that you use to draw your name or whatever letter you have. And then once you have one side there, then you could pinch off another piece and roll it. And pretty much we're copying the letters, but instead of using a pencil or a crayon, we're using Play-doh. And then I'm going to add this one to the next part of my letter M and smush it down so it sticks a little bit there. There we go. And then I'm going to take another one. You see what I'm doing? I'm just rolling over and over and over again to get my Play-doh nice and long like a snake. Feels funny as I do that on my hands. And then I'm going to add it back on top here. So I'm not going to do this entire name, but you get the idea that you just keep placing. So you have the name on the paper, and then you're placing each place of Play-doh on top until you filled out the entire thing. So there's another thing you can do with your Play-doh at home. You can also have, if you know how to write numbers down, you can write some numbers, draw them onto a piece of paper, or have someone at home do that for you. And then you can practice forming the Play-doh into numbers. So there are so many things that you can do with Play-doh, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if you can take a picture of what you've decided to do. It could be something that I showed you, or it can also be your own idea. Take a picture of it and share it with Miss Ligotti and myself. If you have an existing Seesaw account, if you have your own Seesaw account, you can post pictures to your Seesaw account to share with us. But, you know, experiment, use your imagination, play around with it, and use this Play-doh over and over as many times as you like. Remember to place it back into the container when you're finished, squish it back inside there, and then make sure the lid's on nice and tight till you hear that snap, because Play-doh will dry out and get all crumbly if you don't put it back in here when you're done. So once you're finished your activity, just place it neatly into your container. And I'm actually sorting my colors, which is another thing that you can do, is you can group Play-doh into colors if you have different colors at home. And I'm placing my purple Play-doh back into my purple container. And then I'm going to close it up so that it stays nice and fresh so that I can use it again tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Again, I look forward to seeing all the different things that you can do at home to strengthen your muscles, to learn your letters and numbers, and just have fun with it and get ready for when you come to kindergarten. I hope you're having a great day with your families, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you for learning with me. Have a great day.